copy of a pre-enactment judicial review petition filed at the Supreme Court obtained by the Speaker. Russian who tested positive for COVID-19 while undergoing quarantine in Mathura admitted to the Hambantota hospital. Underworld figure Ratmalani Roha dies following a shootout with the police. Paddy farmers to be granted a 100% fertilizer subsidy.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is Lunchtime News on TV1. I'm Jamal Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. On to those stories in detail. 11 COVID-19 patients have been detected over the past 24 hours, which ended at 5:30 a.m. today.
The National Center for Prevention of COVID-19 said 2 returnees from Saudi Arabia, 7 returnees from Dubai and 1 returnee from Ethiopia and Russia were among the COVID-19 patients detected. By 5:30 a.m. today, a total of 650 COVID-19 patients had been detected from the Kandakadu and Senapura rehabilitation centers as a whole. One person out of a group of 15 Russian nationals who arrived in the country from Mattala airport has tested positive for COVID-19.
A crew of a Russian airline is undergoing quarantine at a hotel. One person of the crew tested positive for COVID-19 during the second PCR test. The infected person has been admitted to the Hambantota hospital. Further operations are also being carried out smoothly. A number of protests were held in Colombo today.
The protest launched by Graduates Union of the Calania University is still ongoing. They are staging their protest at the agitation site opposite the Presidential Secretariat. These graduates alleged that as the release of their results were delayed, they were unable to apply for the recent job opportunities that were offered by the government. Meanwhile, the Joint Unemployed Graduates Union is staging a protest opposite the Fort Railway Station. They allege that the government had unfairly excluded them from the recent recruitment of graduates to the public sector. A group of students who sat for the 2019 GCE Advanced Level Examination in the Bioscience stream and failed to qualify for university entrance staged a protest today. They protested at the agitation site opposite the Presidential Secretariat.
Ratmalani Roha, a notorious underworld figure, died following a shootout with the police earlier today. He was a wanted suspect in connection to heroin trafficking and several other underworld crimes.
Police stated that the suspect was found from Kammaltota in Kochikade while preparing to flee to India. It is reported that he was killed in a shootout with the officers of the Crimes Division of Western Province North Range. Police also seized a T-56 firearm and a revolver from the suspect's possession.
Parliament convened earlier this morning. Speaker Mahinda Yapa informed Parliament that a copy of a pre-enactment judicial review petition filed at the Supreme Court regarding the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was received by him. I would like to inform Parliament that I have received a copy of the petition filed in the Supreme Court regarding the 20th Amendment to the Constitution in accordance with Article 121(1) of the Constitution. The convener of the Left Centre, Shamira Pereira, spoke regarding the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. The constitutional amendment is brought for the long term, so if it comes with its own bad elements, this president will not stay in power forever. We do not know who will take over after him. What are we to do if that person is not calm and collected like our current president? This is extremely dangerous. That is why we say that you cannot determine things by merely looking at people.
You cannot draft a constitution with the mindset of Gotabaya Rajapaksa being in power forever. If there are lapses in the 19th, there is no need of carrying that burden. If the 20th is implemented, it is not only the opposition that will lose, the entire country and the parliament will lose. That is why checks and balances are of utmost importance. We are all in one boat. The ruling faction and the opposing faction, all of them are in the same boat.
In more news from Parliament, Minister of Agriculture Mahindananda Alutgamage spoke regarding the fertilizer subsidy which would be provided to paddy farmers and other farmers.
We have
decided to grant a 100% fertilizer subsidy for paddy farmers. The quota we had was 385,000 metric tons to be given for the other cultivations. That too was given at 100%. With the onset of COVID-19, agri production in the country increased, therefore the requirement for fertilizer rose as well. Accordingly, we presented a cabinet paper 2 weeks ago and removed the limit we had to obtain fertilizer. Subsequently, we will import another 250,000 metric tons of fertilizer. You are correct, there is a deficit over the past 15 days. It is not a complete depletion. The Maha season will commence next month. Cabinet approval has been granted to provide all the required fertilizer from next month onwards. We will grant a 100% subsidy for paddy farmers, and other farmers will be charged 1,500 rupees per metric ton. That is how the new subsidy process will function.
Minister of Environment Mahinda Amaravira states that trees will not be cut down in development projects but will be uprooted and relocated elsewhere.
The minister made these comments during a meeting with a group of officials from the Geological and Mines Survey Bureau. The minister stated that at least 200,000 trees would be uprooted in future development projects of the government that include the reconstruction and restoration of 100,000 kilometers of rural roads and 5,000 tanks. Accordingly, the minister said trees will be uprooted and replanted elsewhere in a manner that will not harm the environment or the trees. Minister Mahinda Amaravira added 2 machines that can safely remove and uproot such plants will be imported for this purpose soon.
The Presidential Commission probing the April 21st attacks today issued a strict warning to avoid publishing statements refuting remarks made by witnesses during their testimony.
A complaint had been filed at the Presidential Commission over former President Maithripala Sirisena's media statement refuting remarks made by former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando in his testimony last week. Incidentally, this was days after the Archbishop of Colombo, Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, had issued a statement refuting evidence given by former Minister Harin Fernando at the Commission recently. In its ruling, the Presidential Commission announced that such statements should not have been published when lawyers have been given an opportunity to cross-question. Accordingly, the Commission warned former President Maithripala Sirisena, his private secretary Samira De Silva and 3 auxiliary bishops who had issued a statement on behalf of the Cardinal to avoid publishing such statements in the future. The Commission added that any activity deemed to be in contempt of any court, tribunal or institution can be punishable by the Court of Appeal under Article 1053 of the Constitution. The former President's private secretary Samira De Silva and auxiliary bishop Maxwell Silva were present at the time of issuing the ruling.
The United Nations Children's Fund or UNICEF has commended the Sri Lankan government for its recent amendments to the law on children.
UNICEF points out that the decision to raise the minimum working age to 16 is in compliance with labour laws as well as a compulsory age to receive education, which is 16 years. Accordingly, the UNICEF points out that through this, the right of children to receive education has been meaningfully achieved. The organisation also stated that by amending the Children and Young Persons Ordinance and the Juvenile Offenders Ordinance, juvenile offenders will not be allowed to enter adult prisons. This, in turn, will ensure that juvenile offenders will be rehabilitated through the Department of Probation and Childcare Services. UNICEF country representative for Sri Lanka, Tim Sutton, said that when children are brought before courts and justice, it is important to remember that they are children. He added that imprisonment and deprivation of a child's freedom would adversely affect their overall development and well-being. UNICEF further added that it will continue to support the government of Sri Lanka in ensuring that its judicial system is equipped to meet the rights and interests of children, as well as in ensuring fairness and justice for all children.
Today is day 27 of the 5th phase of the Gum at the Door-to-Door initiative. 6 Gum at the teams are touring across villages situated in 3 districts today.
The Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign is being conducted hand in hand with the University of Peradeniya. Today, 6 Gammada teams are travelling to several villages in the Ampara, Kegol and Badulla districts. The team in the Kegol toured the Samagama village in the Arnaika Divisional Secretariat today. Many residents in this village depend on the pottery industry. However, they face a multitude of hardships ranging from dilapidated roads to the lack of raw material. They also lament that their products do not fetch a fair price in the market. Meanwhile, the Gammada team in Badulla travelled to the line houses in Roberia Wata in Migaha Kiula. The residents of this area spend their days amidst a plethora of hardships. The Badulla team also toured the Balapitiya village in Uvaparnagama today. Another Gammada team in Ampara travelled to the Vachipura area, which falls under the purview of the Alai-Dembu Division Secretariat. The residents of this area who were battered by the tsunami continue to suffer due to the lack of proper infrastructure. There is also a deficit of water in the area.
A memorial of late President J.R. Jayawardena in line with the 114th birth anniversary was held in Tokyo, Japan.
The event has been organized by the J.R. Jayawardena Memorial Committee. The event was held opposite the Jayawardena statue placed at the Unruji Temple in Tokyo. The organizing committee has said that they hope to organize more events of this nature to foster relationships between Japan and Sri Lanka.
And with that, it's a wrap of Lunchtime News on TV1. I'm Jama Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. Take care and have yourself a good day.